É um prazer recebê-los aqui no Festival Mulheres do Mundo e é um prazer convidar para apresentar para a gente o trabalho dela e depois de realizar uma performance, a artista Moon Ribas. Moon, bem-vinda.
Hola. Thank you. Okay. So, I'll speak in English. Sorry, I don't know Portuguese. I wish next time I'll talk. So, I identify myself as a cyborg because I have some implants in my body that allow me to extend my senses beyond my natural senses. So there are many things that happen around us that we cannot perceive through our natural senses. And then I realized that if I unite myself with technology, I could perceive all these imperceptible things. But I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm a dancer and a choreographer. So my aim was to perceive movement in a deeper way. And I realized that movement is not just a human thing. There are many things that move around us and that we cannot perceive it. So in my research in movement, actually was studying dance in a very experimental school. And we were encouraged to use technology in our dance pieces. But it always felt very cold. I always felt that using technology as a tool was, I don't know, it had a cold and distant output. So I realized that rather than using technology as a tool, if we use technology as part of the dancer, it would be more natural. So I started to investigate this union with myself and technology to perceive movement in a deeper way. And then the first project I did, it was this type of glove. It's a bit big, but this was the type of glove that I used to have, and if I pointed at people, it would tell me the speed of the people walking in front of me. So I wanted to develop the sense of a speed. So yeah, I would point at people, and then it would tell me if someone was walking 5 per hour or 3 per hour, and like this. But that wasn't that cool because first of all, I had to point at people. That was a bit weird. And then also this would tell me the speed of the people and the speed of the people walking in front of me. And I didn't want to know the speed. I wanted to feel the speed. I didn't want to use technology as a tool or to have this information. I wanted to become this as a new sense, as a new perception. So in order to do that, what I did with the help of a friend is to transform this glove into a pair of earrings. So when someone was walking from right to left, I would feel a vibration on my right ear, and then on the left, and then when he was walking on the left, I would feel a vibration on the left ear. So depending on the interval of each vibration, I would know the speed of the people walking in front of me. So these I started to try this and to know the speed of the people walking in front of me. And after I was wearing this for a while, I realized that actually, depending on where we are, we tend to walk faster or slower. So I was fascinated because there's like this common movement sense. Maybe here in America I haven't done it, but then I was in Europe because I'm from Barcelona. So I started this project in Europe, and then I realized that actually you would probably walk faster if you are in London than if you are in Rome by the, how do you say, yeah, like the feeling of everyone, you know, like by inertia. I don't know. Well, never mind. Like inertia, no? Like that you have this common sense with all the other people. So I decided to do a European project to define each capital city by the speed of the citizens of each city. So it was another way to define the cities by the speed of the people that live there. And I went to each capital, and then I created like a movement dictionary defining each city by the movement quality of the people who live there. And with this, I realized that actually the fastest city in Europe is London. Stockholm is also very fast. I was very surprised by this. And actually the slowest city is the Vatican City, basically. It's just like no one ever runs there. If someone's running, something terrible must happen. It's basically a long line. after experiencing this movement, the speed of the people walking, I decided to turn my earrings around, and this actually helped me to perceive presence that I had behind. I feel like all our senses are focused on front of our bodies, but in the back of our bodies, we are very dead sensory talking. We don't feel things behind, or like some people feel less than others. Actually, I don't know if this happened to you, but I get really anxious when I want to go fast and people don't feel me when I'm going behind. I think in big cities this happens a lot, that you want to run and they block you and they don't feel you. I get really annoyed by this, so I think everyone should have these earrings that help you to feel presence behind. And it's actually some senses that you give to cars, like the new cars, they can feel that when they get closer to the next car, but actually we don't. So rather than create senses for cars, maybe we should create senses for ourselves. So after, and this actually, opened like my space awareness to 360 degrees. So the way that you walk and your awareness of the space changes a lot. And maybe if we all had this, our way to walk through the cities would change, and maybe new sports would be created because your awareness really changed. After investigating with the movement, the speed of the people and the space, I got that my sense depended on people or on objects, and I wanted to have a more universal sense, that my sense didn't depend on the other people. And I thought, if I would be alone in the planet, how could I perceive movement? And then I realized that the Earth is constantly moving, not only rotates by itself and around the sun, but it shakes constantly through earthquakes. And then I thought it would be amazing to be united to this natural and huge movement that is an earthquake, and that is all the time happening, but it's most of the time imperceptible. So I thought it would be amazing, because actually earthquakes are huge but imperceptible at the same time. So this is when I started the project in 2013. So now I have this couple of implants on my feet that are connected to online seismographs, and whenever there's an earthquake, I feel a vibration in my body. So now I'm here in Rio, but if there's an earthquake in Greece or in Japan or in California or in Chile, I would feel a vibration inside my body. And depending on the intensity of the earthquake, the vibration I feel is stronger or less strong. So I call this the seismic sense, the sense of feeling seismic activity of the planet in real time. And at the beginning I had, sorry, I have to turn around, that's not very polite, but it's okay. So at the beginning I had to get used to feeling all these vibrations, because it's like I have to get used to it, because it was like this new input inside my body. So, for example, in the middle of the night, I would wake up more often. Now I'm okay. I think I sleep very easily, so I got used to it very fast. But for some people, maybe it would be more annoying. But at the beginning, if there would be a bigger earthquakes, I would wake up more often. Or maybe I was talking, and if there was a big earthquakes, I would stop talking, because I was thinking with other things. But now I'm just used to it, and a way that I have to describe it is I feel like I have two beats inside my body. Part of my earth beat, my heartbeat, I have the earth beat. I add this extra beat inside my body. And I see this as cyborg art. I feel like now artists no longer need to use technology as a tool. We can use technology as part of our body and change our perception of reality. So the artwork of a cyborg artist would be the creation of a new sense. So I see the seismic sense as my artwork, but the thing is that it's an artwork that happens inside the artist. So I'm the audience of my own art. So I guess the problem in cyborg art is the space where it happens, like the museum, the audience, and the artwork, it happens in the same place. So this is a bit of the problem of the cyborg art. So in order to share what I feel, I create external artwork. And one of my pieces, this is a dance piece that it's called Waiting for Earthquakes. And it's a dance piece based on real time. So it's an invitation to the audience, where the audience and I just wait in a room. And whenever there's an earthquake, I move according to the intensity of the earthquake. So it can last, this piece can last 10 minutes, or it can last hours. and we just waiting like for the earth to move. So if there are no earthquakes in the performance, there will be no dance. Lots of festivals are worried about this piece. Like, what if there's no earth? It's like, it's not my problem, it's the earth, but that's the curiosity. So in this case, earth is the choreographer of the piece, and I'm just interpreting the data. Another way that I have to, I did it in New York, in different places on the streets. So I created this cube and I was waiting so people could just look. It's like a living sculpture, you know, like people can just look at it and see if the earth moves in that moment. It was in Times Square. Actually, a girl lied down when I was waiting for that, and another man went inside the cube. So it was like interactive sculpture. Okay, this I have to explain this. Like, actually, when you create a new sense, a part of deciding what do you want to sense, you also have to think how do you want to sense it. No, and the first time I created the prototypes to feel the seismic activity and actually put it on my arm, and then I kept moving it, and then I did some implants in my arms because it felt like, I actually didn't think too much about it because it felt like it was far from my vital organs and it was comfortable. And then after wearing it for a while and having it for a while, I realized that actually didn't make much sense to feel earthquakes on my arms. If we humans would have this new sense, we would probably have it on our feet. This is the part of the body that touches the floor. So then I did like a transplant and I moved my implants to the feet. So, but when I had it on the arm, I actually created this sculpture, and it's a 3D version of my arm, and it was exhibited in Barcelona and in Singapore too. So the visitors could touch the arm, and if there was any earthquake happening in that moment, the arm would vibrate. So this is like a cyborg sculpture because it's a sculpture connected to a living organism, which is the earth in this case. And I also have this another way to share what I feel with seismic percussion, which I will do later. One is based on real time, so the seismic, so the rhythm of the piece is based on how the tectonic plates are moving in real time. But I also have another way to do it, which is I create scores based on the seismic activity that has happened in a specific place. So what I'm gonna play to you later, it's like I researched all the earthquakes that happened in Brazil in the last 50 years, and I put them all together in a score that looked like this. Now it's taped, so I cannot show you, and and I'm gonna last like 10 minutes, so you will be able to hear how your country has been moving through vibrations of the drum. So in this case, Earth is the composer of the piece, and I'm just interpreting the data that she has. So actually, in 2010, with my childhood friend Neil Harbison and I, we founded the Savak Foundation, basically with 3 aims. One was to help humans to become cyborgs. The other one is to promote cyborg art as an artistic movement. And the third one was to defend the cyborg rights. The right of designing yourself and creating your own senses and organs. We did different, So the word cyborg, actually, it was created by 2 scientists from the Nessa, and they created this word because they had this need they thought that we needed another word apart from bionic and mechanic, so there was this need of creating this other word. And they thought, if we had to go to space, rather than create spaceships and to have to live in the spaceships, we should modify ourselves in order to survive in other environments. When they thought about another environments, they thought about the space. It was coined in the 60s and the 50s. So since that moment, from now, the word cyborg has been used in many different ways, especially in science fiction movies. And actually, we went to meet Manfred Klein, one of the man who created this word, and he was very annoyed about the film industry, of how badly they used this word. But since it was coined, we thought the word cyborg, has been used in many different ways. So we tried to define three different ways of being a cyborg. So we thought that one could be a psychological cyborg, which is the feeling of being united to technology. Maybe most of you are already psychological cyborgs, because when your phone is running out of battery, say, I'm running out of battery, instead of saying, my mobile phone is running out of battery. So you talk to the phone as if it was part of yourself, so you feel attached to technology. One could be a biological cyborg, which is the physical union between technology and yourself. And the other one could be a neurological cyborg, which is the modification of the brain and the mind because you've been united to technology for so long. During the Savak Foundation, we've done different projects, and one of them was actually some years ago here in Brazil. We were invited in Sao Paulo, and we did we had like a workshop. We had a week, and we were working with 16 very talented people. And we had to propose a project. And actually, Neil has 2 teeth missing, and I have 1 tooth missing. So we proposed them to do a tooth that did something differently. So actually, I had like an implant in my tooth that whenever I click, Neil would feel a vibration, and whenever he clicked, I would feel a vibration. We both know the Morse code because we had to learn from a performance. So we were actually able to communicate from tooth to tooth by clicking our mouth. So it was like an implant in my mouth and the other one. And we did like a performance to demonstrate how it works. So I was sitting at the end of a table and Neil in the other end. And the audience would write the word and it would be like, and then he would feel it and he would write the word. So it was like the first experiment of what we call the transcendental communication system, because we were able to communicate from tooth to tooth. And this was like very basic, but actually it's a communication that we some people could do it, like some people that cannot move at all, they could click their mouth. And also it's a communication that could work in space because you don't need air to communicate to each other. And actually we wanted to do it through Bluetooth, so it was actually a Bluetooth tooth. And we also like the poetry about it. Neil had another space missing, so in the other space he created a light tooth. So whenever he clicked, he could create a light inside his mouth. And he said it was good when you lose your keys in the back, you can click and then look for the keys. I think it's useful. Actually, in all these projects, now that I identify myself as a cyborg, I don't feel closer to robots or to machines. I actually feel closer to nature and to other animals. Like, I think it's very different to know that the Earth is moving than actually to feel that the Earth it's moving and evolving all the time. So I think that we should get inspired by other species living in this planet, because through our senses we experience the reality very differently. So, for example, sometimes when you think about a new sense, you don't need to think about something from science fiction or very artificial. Just taking a look at nature, you can get very inspired. Some animals can fly, some animals can perceive ultraviolet or infrared. Even immortality already exists in nature, because there's a jellyfish that never dies and keeps regenerating itself. So yeah, I think we can get very inspired by the other species living here. And all these senses that help us to perceive the reality, we call this revealed reality, because through our senses we experience the outside world. So if you create new senses, you reveal a reality that exists. So we think it's not virtual reality or augmented reality, we call it real reality or revealed reality. And I also feel trans species, because actually I have these new senses and this new organ that it's no longer defined as a human sense or as a human organ. So I feel like I'm not 100% human because of all these new senses and new organs. We don't feel that we feel a bit different from the transhuman. We don't think that all these senses make us better, or it's about improving the human. It's about getting another experience of reality. Actually, yeah, there's many people that don't feel 100% human because, well, I'll tell you later, there's many ways. And this is Neil, like my friend. He also feels transpecies because he has this antenna implanted in his head that allows him to feel the colors through sound. And yeah, he feels transpecies also. This is a very visual example of how he feels transpecies because he has an antenna, and antennas are not humans, they're more from the animal world. And when he wanted to implant his antenna, he went to a hospital in Barcelona and he asked to a doctor if he could have the antenna implanted. And the doctor said, well, you have to talk to the bioethical committee. So he went to talk to the bioethical committee. And then after some meetings, finally they said no, that he couldn't have this surgery. And actually they told him the 3 reasons: that it wasn't necessary, that it could be dangerous. They were worried about the image if someone would walk in normal and come out with an antenna. And actually we found a bit of parallelism with the transgender community in the 20s and the 30s. If someone had the body of a man but felt like a woman, if he wanted to have surgery, the hospitals used to say the same thing, that it wasn't necessary, that it could be dangerous, and they were worried about the image if someone would walk in as a man and walk out as a woman. So we hope in the future would be very normal to have surgery, to have new organs and new body parts. So in last year we founded the Transspecies Society. It's a lab in Barcelona, and people can become a member. And we do labs once a week to create new senses and to help people to create new senses and new body parts. We also have artist residencies that people can apply and can do a project in the lab, and also some events. And we talk about the identity, and I realize how many people don't feel 100% human, that they don't feel human, but maybe for other reasons. I don't feel 100% human because I have united with cybernetics, but there's many other people that don't feel human for other reasons. This is Manel. This is also a cyborg artist that we co-founded the Transspecies Society with him. And actually he's creating some ears. Now this is like the first prototype, but now he has it bigger. And he was very interested about the weather. So he has, through his ears, he can feel the atmospheric pressure. So he can know if it's going to rain or not through vibrations in his ear. So he's actually the weatherman in person. This is another project that we did. It's this boy. He was doing a project about the Savak Foundation, and we told him, why don't you become a cyborg? He was like, okay. And then he made this. We helped him to make this sense that it's about to sense the air quality, so to know if it's very polluted or not. So this could maybe help you the way to arrive home and to choose the less polluted way to arrive home. This is another project that we did in a workshop in the south of France. So actually this part of the body is called solar plexum, and some students did a prototype that you could have something here and feel the heat of the sun, because the sun changes the heat. Sometimes they have solar flares or not, so you could be connected to the heat of the sun through this. This is magnetic hair. So actually, if you could implant this, then you could feel the magnetic fields around you. So if you would pass close to a fridge, your hair would move like this. So it would be like interactive hair. We went to Colombia, and then we met the mayor there, and he was a bit bald, and he was very interested about these new implants. This is a new project that Neil is doing. Is the sense of time. So it would be a point of heat that it will take 24 hours to go around his head. So at the same time, so it will work like the sun. And he wants to get used to, because we all have our own perception of time, but we don't have an organ to feel and to sense time. So he's creating this organ to feel time. It is a bit more complicated, but yeah, it will take 24 hours to go around his head, and he wants to get used to have this new sense, and then maybe in the future have some time illusions in the same way that we have optical illusions. he wants to change. Well, this is more complicated. I don't know how to explain it. This is a project that we did with Neil, me, and Manel. Actually, there's this research that we said that humans, we used to feel the magnetic north many years ago, but we lost it through time. But there's a research that says that we used to feel it behind our legs. So we wanted to try out if we could implant something and wake up this dormant sense. So we implant, this was in a festival, we implant the inside of a compass to see if we could wake up this dormant sense. So we've been having this for some months. For now, we haven't wake up this dormant sense. I still don't know where the north is, but it was a tryout. I just want to say also that actually we feel that humans have been changing the environment for hundreds and hundreds of years in order to live more comfortable. Maybe now we arrived in an era that maybe it will be more ethical to change ourselves in order to design ourselves in order to live more according to the planet's needs. Maybe if we would all know how the Earth had been moving for the last years, maybe we wouldn't have been building all these big cities at the edge of the tectonic plates that actually are very dangerous places to live. If we all had night vision, maybe we wouldn't have to turn on the light at night, and we could have half of the planet in the dark, which is more natural, and then we wouldn't waste so much energy. If we would all have our own temperature, and we could all change our own temperature, we wouldn't have the need to change the temperature of the planet, and then we wouldn't waste so much energy. So maybe I think we arrived on a time where designing ourselves, it would be better for the needs of the planet. This is just to end. My current project is actually to feel the seismic activity of the moon, and it would allow me to be physically on Earth, but having my feet on the moon to perceive the moonquakes. We call this to become a sensonaut. So to feel we no longer, we no longer need to be an astronaut in order to explore space. We can create a new sense and explore space while we are on Earth, and we call this to become a sensonaut, to have a new sense while we are on Earth. And just to end, just want to say that we actually are the ones, we actually are the ones who need to make sure that the union between technology and humans doesn't alienate us from nature and from other animals, but actually it's getting us closer from nature, other animals, and maybe to space. And also want to say that actually I'm very happy to be here to speak in this festival, because I think that the world of technology is a very man-dominated world. So I think it's nice to be talking to all these women, and that we have to also get in the technology world it's our choice to make the unions between humans and technology maybe more feminine, or maybe more curious, and that we are the ones who decide how to make this union right. Oh my God, I'm so tired. That's it. Now I'm gonna play the seismic activity of Brazil, for that had happened in Brazil in the last 50 years, and hope you like it. Thank you.
(1970) 1971. 1968. 1969. 1970. 1971. 1972. 1973. 1974. 1975. 1976. 1977. 1978. 1979. 1980. 1981. 1982. 1983. 1984. 1985. 1986. 1987. 1988. 1989. 1990. 1991. 1992. 1993. 1994. 1995. 1996. 1997. 1998. 1999. 2000. 2001. 2002. 2003. 2004. 2005. 2006. 2007. 2008. 2009. 2010. 2011. 2012. 2013. 2014. 2015. 2016. 2017. 2018.
Pode? Ah, daí faz em português e traduz ali, né? Tá, massa. Então, eu queria que você explicasse exatamente o... Tá, is it going over there? All right. Exatamente sobre a performance, assim, acho que antes eu consegui entender bastante a apresentação e essa relação com as possibilidades dos chips e dessa relação transhumana, mas na performance, como que chega para você, a partir dos anos, essa relação da sensação do movimento das placas tectônicas do Brasil? E acho que principalmente essa coisa de ano a ano, sabe?
Okay. Yeah, I guess I guess the sense and everything is based on the real time. The seismic percussion, it's the most different thing. So it's more about the research, and then it's an interpretation. So first I have to research the seismic activity that happened here in Brazil, but it's not something, all these earthquakes, I haven't felt them in my body. It's just something that I interpret through the drum. I just feel in my body the things that happen in real time, and actually I don't know where it happens. So I just know that the earth is moving somewhere, but I don't know where. So now I'm like, it's good. Mm-hmm.
Pergunta em português, né? Eu tenho duas perguntas, umas mais técnicas. Eu queria saber como é que funciona o implante. Me? Em relação à bateria, como é que funciona? Se ele fica eternamente a bateria funcionando, como é que é isso? E qual é o meio de transmissão? É tipo GPS? Eu não entendo, eu queria entender mesmo a parte mais tecnológica. E a outra questão é mais transcendental. Quando a gente pensa, literalmente, né, da transmissão transcendental que vocês fizeram através dos dentes, a gente tem essa ideia de que a gente conseguiria, talvez, num nível espiritual, conectar com outras pessoas através de ondas cerebrais. E se, talvez, tá, aqui fazendo uma viagem muito louca, eu queria que você me dissesse o que você pensa sobre isso, se talvez essa visão espiritualizada que a gente tem de conexão não seria, num futuro, uma evolução tecnológica de conseguir se conectar. Então, será que a gente não existe numa outra dimensão, em outros planetas, talvez evoluídos, não seja uma questão espiritual, mas sim tecnológica? I'm sorry, but I wanted to know.
Yeah, it's just more. I mean, there's many ways of using, technology. It's just my way of using technology is very specific. It's just about the senses, and there's many people that unite to technology for other reasons, like more body hackers or for more. How do you say this? Actually, there's many people that use, for example, chips in their hands to open doors or like to pay the bank and all these. There's many uses, but mine is very specific about the senses and how we perceive the outside world. And this is not transcendental, it's not transcendental. It was, yeah, because it was the tooth, so dental. No, I wish it would be like more spiritual. No, it was from tooth to tooth. It was like a bit of a joke that the transcendental communication system. Yeah. I think for me it's kind of imaginary. I'm not sure. A lot of people want this telepathy and all this more. For me, it's I cannot say it. It's more like an imaginary world. I'm not sure if it will really happen. I think it's very difficult to use the technology for more spiritual or like for other things. I don't imagine it. I think what will change in the future is more like the genetic modification. This will be very different, like the 3D printing. This will change how we perceive life. But yeah, you were talking about this is how to unite to this spiritual world with technology. I do think this is a spiritual world, but I never related to technology, actually. Maybe you should try it. Because I think also one of the things I've encouraged in the Savak Foundation, it's more about to find your own way of perceiving the world. I think that's the most beautiful thing. For me, it was interesting earthquakes because I get the movement, and it was like my aim For Neil was the color, for Manel was the weather. But I think the nice thing is that everyone can decide how they want to be and how they want to perceive reality. I think for me it's much more interesting rather than everyone should. I don't think everyone should feel earthquakes. I think everyone should have the freedom of designing themselves and decide how they want to be. Sometimes I say this, I imagine going to a bar in 50 years, and apart from asking where you're from, I would ask, what sense do you have? How did you decide to perceive that? So it's a way of imagining the future much more diverse, like people who are united to technology and people who haven't. Yeah, the battery thing is it's a big issue. Like when you become a cyborg, I guess the battery is a problem. So now our aim is to find battery to charge ourselves. But now I do it through induction, so I have to put something. And also I need my phone in order to get to the online data. So it's not the best, but it keeps evolving. The thing is that these senses keep evolving, and then you meet people and they tell you better ways to feel it. A good way to have new senses that the older you get, the better your new senses will be. So it's good to be old when you're a cyborg, I guess.
I'm interested in how you translate the information you get about earthquakes into the percussive sense, or the work on the drum. It seems that you change intensity as a function of the Richter scale, maybe, but you also used different parts of the drum. Could you talk about that translation?
Yeah, again, like what I played is not something that I felt. It's something that I researched. Okay, and yeah, I don't know. I think I tried to get like different sound qualities, and I think that I always use this background noise because it's like, for me it's this interpretation that the earth is like alive, and then it's basically the different intensities. And yeah, the part of the drum, I don't know, just like it's a way for me to get the intensity more or less. Sometimes I imagine a lot. Sometimes I feel like the earth itself, that it's usually earthquakes are like lines, you know, or like something that it has a recorregut, how do you say, like a path. Yeah, that it moves. So I guess I use the drum a bit as a drawing. Like I imagine that it moves and it goes to the center, and then boom.
Oi, boa tarde. Meu nome é Larissa. Parabéns pelo trabalho. Ok. Boa tarde. Meu nome é Larissa. Parabéns pelo trabalho. E assim, eu sou psicóloga e não tem como eu ver um trabalho desse e não pensar no quanto isso mexe com a sua mente, com o seu emocional. E eu gostaria de saber se você já passou por alguma experiência que foi assim muito impactante, no qual você sentiu assim uma emoção forte, diferente, através dos sentidos, através do seu trabalho, da sua experiência. Se alguma coisa te causou muito transtorno, não sei se eu posso dizer assim.
Yeah, actually, yeah, sometimes, I mean, earthquakes are a bit controversial. I fight for the idea that earthquakes are not bad. The bad thing is that humans haven't been able to adapt to this natural phenomena, but earthquakes have always existed. But I remember when I felt the first big one and really lots of people died, it was the Nepal one, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. I was like really down that day because I kind of also felt the earthquakes, but in a very different way. So I felt like connected to those people, but I was very far, and it made me question this idea. I felt very bad and terrible, and made me question if that's good or not. But then I mean, no, I mean, earthquakes, and it's not a bad thing, you know. But yeah, it makes me question, and because I can see it can be very controversial, especially when people are dying and houses are destroyed. It really makes me feel really bad when this happens. So I guess my next step is also to to make my work a bit more social and maybe to create an organization that to help to learn how to live better in the world. I mean, our planet is constantly moving, and we have to be able to adapt to this natural movement.
Alguém tem mais alguma pergunta? Opa.
So how do you actually get to feel it in your body? Because I understand you have a sensor, you get data from your mobile phone and it downloads to you somehow. Is it something like that?
Yeah, I have implants on the feet that vibrate.
Oh, so
I
you
it
feel the
through
vibration on your feet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, some people think that I'm very spiritual. No, I feel it. It's just like I have an implant that, if not, I wouldn't feel it.
A gente vai abrir para mais uma pergunta, que a moça já tinha pedido aqui.
Você é um senhor trabalho seu, realmente muito instigante, né? Mas eu fico pensando assim, você está falando sobre como é que a tecnologia te ajuda a conectar com outras espécies de animais ou com a Terra, enfim, com o planeta. Aí eu fico pensando com o cosmos, né? Eu fico pensando se vocês têm algum projeto em andamento, ou se vocês já pensaram sobre isso, no sentido de que como é que a tecnologia poderia ajudar as pessoas entre si. Quer dizer, quando você fala da percepção, por exemplo, percepção do movimento, você está no nível da percepção, né? Uma coisa mais física, talvez. E se tem alguma ideia que vocês possam desenvolver no sentido de usar essa tecnologia, esse cyber world, enfim, na direção de poder melhorar um pouco a vida dos humanos, né? Porque podemos até, na sua concepção, ser não totalmente humanos, mas somos humanos, né? Como é que isso poderia ajudar nessa comunidade de semi-humanos, se for o caso?
Yes, I said there's many approaches to this technology. Many people, I guess I got tired of humans. I'm like, I've been, many people, when we do workshops, a lot of the projects that students want to do is how to communicate. But I think there's already so much in the communications of humans, and I actually think it's more difficult. For me, it's very specific of the senses, and I find it very interesting because for me, it's like, how you say, like a discovery, or like I feel like I'm an explorer of the planet. And for me, this is what fulfills me, that there's things happening that we don't see. And actually, for me, I think it's very important to also, of course, to relate to other humans, but also that humans learn how their planet really is. I think is also something very, very important that we don't do. We focus so much in our own species that we forget that we share the planet with other species, and we also that we're not alone in this planet, and actually we forget how our planet is itself, that it's also a living creature that also evolves. So, and there's many things already done for the human communication. I actually think that this can make you not better, but maybe more, to create more empathy towards the planet, towards other species. And if you have more empathy towards the planet, other species, I guess you will probably have more empathy also to your own species, no? To humans. So, yes, for me, like, yeah, we do projects like the communication system, but what really fulfills me, like my personal, it's like this nature and other animals. But I'm sure, I mean, there's many other people that work on the communication of humans, because it's something that lots of people are interested in. I don't personally worked on that.
Então, acho que a gente chegou já na hora de encerrar, mas eu gostaria de agradecer muito. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
E até amanhã. A programação continua, dá para conferir no site, se inscrever e pegar os ingressos antecipados, pessoal. Até amanhã.